The cafe was nearly full when a well-dressed woman carrying a cup of coffee stopped beside a quiet table. A single dad sat there, helping his little daughter finish a coloring book while eating the cheapest breakfast on the menu. The woman smiled politely and asked, "Can I sit with you?" Ethan looked around at the crowded room and nodded. Neither of them realized that this ordinary conversation was about to uncover a secret that had connected their lives for years. Ethan Parker had been raising his 7-year-old daughter, Ava, alone since losing his wife. He worked as a school janitor during the day and delivered groceries in the evenings. Every dollar mattered, but he never allowed Ava to feel poor. Every Friday, no matter how difficult the week had been, he saved enough money to bring her to the same little cafe where they shared pancakes and talked about their dreams. The woman who had joined them introduced herself simply as Claire. She never mentioned that she owned one of the country's largest technology companies, or that magazines constantly called her one of the youngest billionaires in the business world. That morning, she had left her driver behind and wanted a few quiet moments away from meetings and cameras. As they talked, Claire noticed Ethan cutting his own breakfast in half and quietly placing the larger portion onto Ava's plate. When the waitress returned, Ethan smiled and asked for a free cup of hot water instead of another coffee because he didn't want to spend extra money. Claire admired how naturally he placed his daughter's needs before his own. Ava happily showed Claire a drawing of a house with flowers and a smiling family. "That's my future house," she said proudly. "Daddy says we'll have one someday." Ethan laughed softly. "It may take a while, sweetheart, but we'll get there." Claire smiled, though something about his quiet determination stayed in her thoughts long after the conversation ended. Before leaving, Claire secretly paid for Ethan's breakfast. Ethan thanked the waitress but asked who had done it. When she pointed toward the door, Claire had already disappeared into the crowd. Over the following weeks, Claire found herself returning to the cafe every Friday. Sometimes they talked for only a few minutes. Other times they spent nearly an hour discussing books, parenting, and life. Ethan never asked what Claire did for a living, and Claire never offered details. She enjoyed being treated like an ordinary person instead of a billionaire. One rainy afternoon, Ava accidentally mentioned that they had received help from an anonymous donor after Ethan's wife passed away. The donor had quietly paid Ava's school tuition every year without ever revealing their identity. Ethan smiled with gratitude. "Whoever that person is," he said, "they gave my daughter opportunities I never could have afforded." Claire looked away, hiding her emotions. Years earlier, Claire's foundation had received a letter from Ethan's late wife shortly before she passed away. The letter didn't ask for money. It only asked that someone believe in her daughter's future if she wasn't around to do it herself. Touched by the family's honesty, Claire personally arranged anonymous support and instructed her team never to reveal where it came from. Listening to Ethan speak so gratefully about an unknown stranger filled Claire with emotions she couldn't explain. For years, she had wondered whether helping anonymously truly mattered. Now she finally knew the answer. A few days later, Claire invited Ethan to tour her company's headquarters after learning Ava loved science and technology. Ethan accepted only because he thought it would inspire his daughter. The moment they entered the building, employees greeted Claire with respect. Ethan stopped walking. "You're the CEO?" he asked quietly. Claire smiled. "I was hoping you'd find out naturally." Ethan laughed in disbelief. "All this time I thought you were just someone who liked pancakes." Claire replied, "I do like pancakes." The tour ended with Ava excitedly exploring a room filled with educational inventions. Watching her smile reminded Claire why she had started giving in the first place. As they prepared to leave, Claire handed Ethan a sealed envelope. Inside was a handwritten copy of the letter his wife had written years earlier, along with a note. She asked someone to believe in your daughter. I simply honored her wish. Ethan's hands trembled. Tears filled his eyes as he finally realized the woman sitting across from him every Friday wasn't only a billionaire. She had been Ava's secret donor all along. Unable to speak, Ethan simply whispered, "Thank you." Claire gently shook her head. No, she replied. Thank you for showing me that kindness doesn't end when money is given. It grows through the way you raised your daughter. Months later, Ava received a scholarship to continue chasing her dreams, not because of charity, but because of her hard work and excellent grades. Ethan continued working, refusing special treatment, while Claire remained part of their lives, not as a billionaire, but as a trusted family friend. Every Friday, the three of them still met at the same little café. They sat at the same table, ordered the same pancakes, and laughed together like family. Sometimes the greatest gift isn't the money someone gives. It's discovering that the person who quietly changed your life was never looking for recognition, only hoping your future would be brighter than your past. If this story touched your heart, tell us in the comments. Do you believe the greatest acts of kindness are the ones done in secret? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who believes one selfless act can change a family's future forever.